Hey guys, it's Tony Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today you are really going to need to get yourself comfortable, put a pillow on your desk because your drawer is likely to drop. Mine did. Now you'll know, the regulars will know anyway, if you're a newcomer to the channel then I'll try and explain. I don't script my videos. It is kind of a natural process of me trying to get all of my thoughts and stuff across, and sometimes I can get things a little bit wrong, but again I don't script. But today I do have some notes. I am going to try, because I always get them wrong, and it's not intentional, but I do get my bits and my bytes the wrong way round. So I'm going to try my best to get that sorted today. But we're going to be taking a look at the Intel NVMe NVM Express 750 solid state drive. It is a PCI Express version, but there is a 2.5 inch version as well. Now, I will have to cover some points. I am going to have to explain a lot of things to you as well, because there is a lot to cover with this. I have just, and I do mean just, got the pricing through as well. But we also need to do a little bit of history, because this is such a leap forward. We kind of need to explain to you the background and the process and kind of what's got us here in the first place. Now, SATA, when that first came out, we called it SATA 2, and it had 3 gigabits a second of possible bandwidth. That then related to roughly 300 megabytes a second of possible data transfer. There always was going to be like little bits of headrooms and stuff, but I seem to remember back getting hard drives that were doing 240, 250, sometimes 260 at an absolute screaming edge. But then that's when SATA 3 came out. SATA 3 was 6 gigabits a second, and then that gave us a rough possible, and it's the SATA that we're on now, a rough, dream data transfer, 600 megabytes a second. Get round, yeah. See, I'm trying. Now, with SATA 3 as we're on now, I mean, we've got around the kind of up to 560 megabytes a second transfers, read and write sequential with our drives. And that's where we're at. We have had SATA Express. That's not particularly been very well picked up. I do have a SATA Express drive, but it was never something that was designed for the market. It was never going to go retail. It was just so that we could test boards, and because it never really went retail and we never really got any products, we've never really bothered with that. We kind of personally think, when we start talking about this in a minute, you'll understand why it might be a dead option there. We've got, then we went into M.2. M.2 was, again, that was kind of confusing because it was a nice small form factor, which was kind of good. But you had M.2 SATA, which you kind of had the same bandwidth problems as SATA 3. That was basically, it took one of your SATA ports. And then you had M.2 PCIe. And then the M.2 PCIe kind of went straight into the PCI Express bus. And that was using PCI Express 2 bandwidth. And that's where, all the SATAs and the PCI Express and everything kind of gets massively confusing. Now, the thing is this kind of, the NVMe changes matters dramatically, because the NVMe interface goes into 4 PCI Express lanes, as did the M.2, but the screaming difference is it's actually using PCI Express 3 bandwidth, and that's 8 gigabits a second. I was right, I had to stop because I had to kind of get my brain, but PCI Express 3 is 8 gigabits a second per lane. Okay, but where there's 4, that's obviously, it gets you up to 32 gigabits a second, which means this has a theoretical, obviously without the kind of like the overheads and stuff, of 4 gigabytes a second possible data transfer. That's kind of the kind of dream without the headroom. Now I've explained to you about SATA 2 and SATA 3. You had that kind of bit of headroom there. You're going to get that with this. But so essentially there's a lot of bandwidth there available, and this is the first product that we've had that's, you know, been able to come through. Now, I don't want to go into all the nitty kind of tiny little nitty gritty details, but one thing I can say is when Intel did this, they knew that they wanted to go for the absolute most crazy possible drive available. And it was meant to, it was from the get-go, it was, we want it to be the best that we possibly can do at the moment. It was, you know, the most high performance thing available. Now they knew that they'd have to come up with a new socket, they'd have to do this, they'd have to do that. Now we have got the PCI Express card, but they have got an actual, the 2.5 inch version will go on an MSAS connector. My X99 Sabertooth come with an add-in card which drops into the M.2, and just to make things even more confusing, it drops into the M.2 but will go on to the PCI Express 3 interface, just to kind of confuse matters even more. But if you're used to the more modern RAID cards, it's actually got an MSAS connector that goes onto it. So that's probably going to be the connector that you're going to find appearing on your motherboards in the not too distant future. You know, maybe Skylake's going to end up with that on the board. Maybe we'll get revisions of the X99 boards with that on there. So there's a lot of massively confusing stuff, really, and I can't kind of, this for me, I'm not confused, I'm not, I'm just struggling because this thing is an absolute game changer, and my brain is trying to stop me giving you the conclusion when I'm meant to be giving you the specs at first, because I do want to talk to you about the performance results, and then we'll go into a big conclusion at the end, and the conclusion at the end is when I will just fire everything out at you. Some more information, there is not going to be any Windows 7 32-bit support. It is Windows 7 64-bit onwards that's going to be supporting these drives. That is both the 2.5, the PCI Express variants. That's just the way it's going to be. You will be able to use these as boot drives as well. There's been a lot of kind of like people wondering whether they're just going to be storage drives and stuff like that, but it's not going to work that way. You may have to, if you want to put your operating system on it, you may need to put a driver in when you do it. Sometimes with Windows it comes up and it doesn't show your drive up. Sometimes you might have to go in, put your driver in, and then it'll be fine. We've not actually tried to put an operating system on it because we're just testing it in the normal way that we would. But these are all things that when time allows us, we'll be able to cover these things and do your little guides and stuff like that for them. It's got a 5-year warranty as well, which is going to be handy because when you see the performance in a minute, you'll see the speed of the write. So 5-year warranty is going to be pretty good. Now, so we've got all of those bits done. Now this drive and the 2.5 inch drive, they're going to be available in 2 sizes. I've got the bigger one, but they're going to come in a 400 megabyte size and then a 1.2 terabyte size. Now the prices are obviously going to be different. With the 400 is, and this is the prices I've been given from Intel. I don't have GBP prices yet. I've been trying to get some answers out of e-tailers in the UK, but nothing's been confirmed yet. So I'm just going to give you the prices that Intel have given me. The 400 megabyte drive is gigabyte drive is going to be $389, and then the 1.2 terabyte drive, which is the one that I've got here, is going to be $1,029. Now, a terabyte drive for $1,000 is obviously quite expensive, considering you can get some normal SATA 3 drives for probably around the kind of $400 mark, $450 mark. In the UK, you can get them now for around 300 quid. But you'll see this isn't, in a minute, this isn't your average drive, not in the slightest. And I've got myself some graphs and stuff here anyway, but I do want to just pop you up quickly the crystal disk mark. Now we're doing this one first, and it may seem kind of strange. Now it's at the top of both of these graphs, and the reason why I'm saying that it's kind of strange is we actually think, personally, as you'll see with the results in a second, later on, sorry, we actually think we're probably getting to the limits of CDM, CDM crystal disk mark. But if you do want to see all of the results, because we've done Anvil, we've done Crystal Disk Mark, PC Mark 7, PC Mark 8, all of that stuff, please click the link to go to the full review on the Overclock 3D website. And you can see it all there, photos. Yeah, just please go and have a look. But show you these two graphs, and you can see right at the very top of both the read and the write is the Intel drive. Now the read, you can see we got up to on this 1655 megasecond, but like I said, in a minute you'll see why this is actually kind of, you know, it's not actually as fast as it is, which is why we think it's been kind of capped a little bit. But the most interesting thing with this is the write, and if you have a look down at the bottom, you can see you've got the 4K writes, and if you have a look at the NVMe, it's just so much faster than anything else in that graph. I mean, if we said that it was twice as fast as anything we've ever tested with the 4K writes, I think that would be a bit of an understatement. And the 4K writes is a very difficult thing for it to do, because it's all about when you're moving small files. If you've ever moved like your, for argument's sake, your iTunes folder, or lots of small little photos or something like that, you'll know that the transfer speed drops like an absolute anvil. And with this, it's just something else entirely. If we move on to Atto, right, so we've got the Atto benchmark here, and all we're going to do is select the D drive, because that's our NVMe drive, and then we're just going to run it. And what I will do is I'm going to zoom you in just so that you can get to see it nice and up close, and it'll be nice and easy for you to see on the screen. We film the screen itself because then we're not, you know, we've not got any lag or anything running in the background. But the benchmark is just starting now. I've just clicked it. Now the red is write and the green is read. You can see all the block sizes and stuff down the bottom. You can see that we've got some, I mean, we're already down in the tiny sections, but we're already now kissing 100 megabits a second. Then you have a huge write jump, and we're up to 700 megasecond writes. You'll see that the reads stay down relatively low. Now the writes in the small blocks is actually a very, very strong point, because generally the writes on very small blocks, especially that 4K block, would be tiny. We're now writing at over 1.2 gigaseconds, so 1200 megabytes a second. Still floating around the 1200 meg, but the writes, they've just gone from 4, just above 6 on the reads. Still 1200 megasecond writes. We've just gone over the 1000 megasecond on the reads now, on a 128K block. 1600 now for reads. That's 2.2 gig read. Over 2.5 gig read. .5 again, with over 1.2 on the write again. And there we have the final one. We're at about, well, it's 2.67 gigabits a second. Now I wanted to show you that just so that you can see the difference as it does the benchmark in the block sizes and the read and the write speeds. So we'll just show you those Atto results in the graph, and you can see there that we've got the on the read, we've got the peak there, 2584. And then on the right, you can see we've got the 1600 there. But it's really, again, it's the writes on those small blocks, like the 16K, for example. It's just horrifically faster than anything else we've ever tested. Okay, so notepad down. I have tried to give you the specs in the way I understand them as well, because I'm no kind of university graduate with a ball out understanding of all this technical stuff. I'm just an end user like you guys, and I'm trying to explain it in the way that I understand it, and then hopefully that will mean that you understand it as well. If you want the more technical stuff, then please go and watch some of the other videos out there, because there's bound to be lots of them. But I like to try and keep the kind of laid back approach. So essentially, when we were talking about, well, because with the conclusion we always do the awards, and with the awards we could have just thrown it all at it, because Intel, they're a massive company, and they can decide to, oh, we're going to change the interface, we're going to change this, we're going to change the platform. Intel have got the power to do that, and everybody has to follow, but it does deserve an innovation award. But then the performance is there, so it deserves a performance award. And then do we give it the gold award? Because you can get crazy priced ones that are still faster than anything out there. And then I love it, so I want to give it the white gold award, because it's absolutely bonkers. So do we just throw them all at it? We don't know. At the end of the day, you can take your pick. It really is. It definitely deserves, on every single time, it deserves the innovation award, because it is such an innovation. It's crazy. And then, so maybe we'll say for the video, we'll say the innovation award and the white gold award, the TTL white gold award. But it's been such a long time since we've had something that's taken a monumental step forward and made everything else behind it just look out of dated. NVMe, and this drive specifically that they've given us so that we can test this, for me, that's what this has done. In technology terms, I don't think the market's ever really moved in such a big step forward since Sandy Bridge was first launched. I mean, if you think back to Sandy Bridge, we had, at that present moment in time, just before Sandy Bridge, the 990X was the fastest processor on the planet. It was about £1,000, it was 6 cores, 12 threads, and it was insane. Then Sandy Bridge came out, and the 2500K and the 2700K, 2600K, 2500K and 2600K come out, and the 2600K was almost just a shade as quick as the 990X, but it was a quarter of the price, and it changed everything. There was just such an enormous architecture performance leap forward at that present moment in time, and Intel were only really competing with themselves even back then. It was just absolutely bonkers. Apologies, couriers, and if there's one thing I didn't need today, it was interrupting in the conclusion. So we were talking about Sandy Bridge, and Sandy Bridge was such a monumental leap forward. It was ridiculous. The architecture changes and everything that they implemented, it was just such a line in the sand. It was unreal. I don't think we'd had anything that groundbreaking since Core 2 Duo first come out, when they first released their dual cores with hyperthreading. So Sandy Bridge, amazing. I think what Intel have done, whether you want to say with the NVMe interface, I would probably go as far as say with the drive itself, is they've just kind of rewritten the rule books. Everything has now changed. The headroom that everyone's got available now is kind of up there. Intel have made this drive to be the absolute best possible thing that they could do. So now the challenge is out there for everybody else to kind of run around chasing their tails and try and bring new products in. I honestly cannot wait. Storage has now got exciting. Now that's a very, very nerdy thing to say, but personally it really has. My jaw was on the desk when I saw the actual results coming out. The way that the Atto, the writes peak really, really early with the really small block sizes, that's perfect for, it's the day-to-day use kind of stuff that is just, see, look, and I'm not doing this on purpose, it's properly, it has kind of almost left me struggling for words. It is an absolute game changer. Small block writes are immensely fast. When you get to the big stuff, the reads catch up, and everything is where you would want it. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Sure, you can pick faults and say, oh, you know, could have done with the backplate. They could have done with a black PCB. But the way that the Intel kind of make this stuff isn't for kind of high-end enthusiasts and stuff. But they've kind of pretty much just chucked this out there now for everybody else to kind of go in and refine and do what they can with it. So it's going to be a properly interesting time. But if you want the fastest hard drive on the planet right now, you need to rush out and get yourself one of these. Sure, the sticker's upside down. I would have thought, you know, a lot of people are either going to buy these and just go for the absolute balls out nature of it. Some people are going to buy them and customize them. I know I'd want to. I'd love to get my, you know, to actually be able to, you know, get there and paint one. I still don't know whether this is going to have to go back. I sure as hell hope not. But Intel have changed the game entirely. NVMe is the future. All of you out there with SATA 3 boot drives and stuff, it's now, you know, it's Old Testament. Well, I'm not going to say obsolete, but you're on the old stuff. And the future is NVMe, and what a future it could be! So I'm really sorry. I know I've kind of gone around and about and I didn't really need to, but this is one of the few times that you're ever going to see me properly excited about something. This is absolutely groundbreaking. I love it. I want to keep it. I don't want to give it back. I want more. It's absolutely epic. Hopefully in the not too distant future, I will be reviewing you the 2.5-inch version as well. And with the 2.5-inch version, you need that SAS interface, and I've already got kit here waiting so that we can test it properly. So it's just waiting for the actual stock to arrive and me to actually be able to get my hands on one. But what a drive. What a drive. Intel have kind of batted this out the park. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. If you can't tell whether it's any good and whether you need to get it by this video, then I might as well just hang up my boots and stop making videos. But for now at least, with Tiny Tom Logan's jaw on the floor and struggling to actually get his words out properly, out. Ding!